the more that I have sort of lived through life, the more that I've realized that I need to trust my gut a lot more. I used to sort of push off the sort of feelings that I used to get of like, oh, I don't really understand this particular thing, or I'm uncertain about this person, or, I just don't know what their intentions are. And I always give people the benefit of the doubt, and that's actually been one of my problems that I've had to work on, is that I tend to see positive in everybody, and that is a real great trait. Often gives me a lot of optimism for the future, and really see a lot of things. However, it sort of doesn't set you up in terms of protecting yourself, and really, sort of seeing the things as they really are. And, I just want to remind everybody is that you need to really trust your gut. I think your intuition that you actually have is far more superior than you ever think it's going to be. And you really need to focus on that intuition and sort of use that as hey, there's something to be said there. And really just think about that. Every time that I have looked around and I was like, man, that my instinct was telling me this, or I was trying to be too nice here. That's my tendency, is to always focus on being too nice. And really I just need to cut it short. And that's almost always been the case, is that if there is feelings of really just pay attention to those. Those are they're telling you something, and really focus on it. That intuition, I think, is underrated in terms of a skill. So, I study a lot of decision making, right? So understanding how decisions get made, and the sort of frameworks that the sort of traditional folks think about in terms of decision making. And frankly, a lot of it is not great, and we don't have a good sense of how actually intuition actually works, right? So the rational decision model is that you have these particular alternatives that you sort of decide upon, and then you choose the best alternative depending on criteria of where it's going to take you in the future. And honestly, you don't do that with intuition. That's what makes it so challenging, is you often have to sort of use your senses and pick up a lot more information that's available. And it's usually super subtle information that is not it's not codified or codified in any way. And it's really a intangible sense of you can't put your fingers on it, but you know that is a real thing that's there. So I just encourage you to use the intuition a heck of a lot more, and where you're going and what you're doing. I think it's underrated. And I think that combination of intuition and rational thought actually gets you a long ways. That sort of combination of those two things working together. You need to focus on both of them for you to make better decisions in terms of what's going on. So I encourage you to use more intuition, but then slow down your decision making at the same time, and really hammer on the coming up with pros and cons and effects and cause and effects and sort of basic standard models of decision making. All right, so thanks so much for listening. Take care. Have a wonderful day.